Everyone's left their families, their homes, their friends, their jobs to pursue a dream where they know that the percentage of them achieving that dream is never, and they do it anyway. And everyone has shared the same dream, and no one's sure if it was a premonition or a delusion. And there's only one way to find out.
Hollywood is built on dreams and struggle. Most actors give up after years of rejection. But every once in a while, one role comes along and changes everything.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
These are the rare moments when a single performance redefined a career. These are the roles that made stars. Sylvester Stallone is one of the biggest action heroes of his generation, but in his early acting days, he faced constant rejection due to partial facial paralysis from birth, which caused slurred speech and a drooping face. Without any formal background in acting, Stallone struggled even to make ends meet. Stallone recalls his struggles and stated, "Well, I cleaned lions' cages, I cut fish heads, I was kind of a night watchman, I just did a multitude of things. Delivery boy, you name it," said Stallone. "I had a pregnant wife and had to sell my dog to meet the rent, and things were not looking very good. Still, it didn't matter. I wanted to stick with it." Frustrated by his roles and circumstances, Stallone decides to write his own movie, and within 3 days he finished the script, which the studio loved. With a stringent budget of just $1 million, the movie hit the big screens. That movie was Rocky, the story of a boxer who got a shot at the title, and just like his on-screen character, Stallone seized the opportunity and made his mark.
Diana Lewis, in the meat house with Southpaw Rocky Balboa.
Rocky became a box office phenomenon and grossed over $200 million and even won the 1977 Oscar for Best Picture. The success launched a string of Rocky sequels, turning the underdog story into a legendary franchise. Stallone used that momentum to take on iconic roles like Rambo and cemented his place as a Hollywood action star. With a career spanning over 5 decades and bringing in over $4 billion at the global box office, Stallone's story is truly inspirational. Samuel L. Jackson is known for his commanding screen presence and sharp dialogues. From explosive action roles in films like Die Hard with a Vengeance to his iconic role as Nick Fury in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Jackson has built a career spanning decades and genres.
I recognize the council has made a decision, but given that it's a stupid decision, I've elected to ignore it.
But unlike his current success, in the early stages of his career, the king of curse words was a struggling theater actor.
When I was 23, I was pounding the pavement in New York. Yeah. Trying to find a job. I was going to auditions and, jumping the subway turnstile.
Poverty was not the real struggle for Jackson, rather it was the years of drug abuse that derailed his career. He started missing practice and got replaced in plays. But with the help of his long-term partner LaTanya Richardson, he went to rehab.
Finding out that I was in my own way. So once I got clean, everything kind of changed. So there's a very distinct correlation of me changing my life and being focused and clear about what I needed to do and my success.
Ironically, a week after leaving rehab, Jackson was cast in a movie called Jungle Fever as a crack addict, for which he got critically acclaimed. But his notable role came in 1994. Jules in Pulp Fiction became a cornerstone of Jackson's career, cementing his badass persona and landing him major roles in films like Jackie Brown, The Negotiator, and eventually into the MCU as Nick Fury. With over 100 films and more than $5 billion in global box office earnings, Jackson stands as one of the most intense and iconic actors in Hollywood today. Much like Jackson, Robert Downey Jr. spent years battling addiction and its consequences. Compared to others, breaking into Hollywood was not a problem for Downey. He made his on-screen debut at age 5 in his father's film Pound. And by early 90s, he took on major roles in films like Less Than Zero, and even earned an Oscar nomination for his performance in Chaplin in 1992.
Man, I had it all worked out. Crushed, I thought I did. I fucked up. I don't have any money. I don't know where I'm gonna get it.
For Robert, Things began to fall off the rails in the mid-90s as he struggled with a severe cocaine addiction that soon consumed his life and career.
What was going on?
Cocaine psychosis, it's one of the things that happens. It's tough stuff, but yeah, that's what was going on with me naked driving around with the rats.
The severe addiction eventually landed him in prison for about a year, a turning point that made him regret his life choices. He later described it as the moment he decided to change his path.
When I was, locked down in a California correctional facility, I said, wow, this is really not panning out for me.
Yeah.
After getting out of prison, Robert tried hard to regain his career. But even with successful films like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Tropic Thunder, he was not considered an A-list actor. But in Hollywood, all it takes is just one movie.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Welcome home, son.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tony Stark became the defining role of Robert Downey Jr.'s career, launching him into superstardom almost overnight. Within years, he wasn't just a successful actor, but was the face of MCU and one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. His journey from personal struggles to a global icon is one of the greatest comebacks in entertainment history. Today, Downey has long left his troubled past behind and has cemented his legacy as one of the biggest and most loved actors of all time. Downey's life and willpower are inspirational, but there is another actor in the MCU whose life is nothing less than fiction. Like most actors, Mark Ruffalo also struggled in his initial days and had to be a bartender to make ends meet. He started his acting career in Stella Adler's school in Los Angeles and stayed there for 6 years.
So it was a 3-year program, and I ended up staying for 6 years. I was working on my craft, man.
Slowly, Ruffalo started to land notable roles in movies like You Can Count on Me, but just as his career began to take off, tragedy hit. He was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Even though the surgery was successful, it left one side of his face completely paralyzed. Ruffalo lost all hope as he recalled the tragedy. It lasted a long time. It lasted to the point where they were saying, "You're probably not going to get your face back," he said. But against the odds, I began to recover slowly and regained my facial movement after a year.
Trying to move my face. Just a little.
Just something.
I was like, baby! Baby, I can move my face!
Slowly but steadily, Ruffalo's career began to gain momentum. Finally, in 2012, he landed the defining role of his career, Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk in the Avengers.
Dr. Banner, now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
The movie was a huge success, grossing over $1.5 billion worldwide, and the Avengers turned Ruffalo into a household name. With standout performances in Spotlight and Foxcatcher, and eventually an Emmy win for his gripping dual role in I Know This Much Is True, Ruffalo cemented his status as one of the industry's top character actors. It was persistence and passion that brought Mark Ruffalo to where he is today. For the next actor, it took 8 long years and a stint as a carpenter before landing a major role which changed his life. Harrison Ford took on acting by accident. During his college years, he joined a drama class in hope of an easy grade, but later fell in love with the art. After college, Ford moved to Hollywood and took up small roles and finally landed a good one in the movie American Graffiti.
Come on, boy, let's go. Prove it.
The movie was a huge success, but Ford's career did not take off, and he had to work as a carpenter to survive in Hollywood. Ford always stayed positive during those hardships and later recalled, "I always saw life in a way that you really had to stick it out to prevail. And the way of thinking about things that I learned from carpentry, I began to understand, would serve me in acting as well. And that is, to work from the ground up, one thing on top of another." One day, while working as a carpenter, Ford was rebuilding the office of a top producer when he ran into an old friend, George Lucas, who asked him for a favor. Ford was asked to read lines for the actors auditioning for his next movie, Star Wars. After dozens of failed auditions, Lucas realized the guy reading the lines was the one he was looking for.
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Star Wars became a huge success, and Han Solo became legendary, grossing over $700 million worldwide, marking a turning point in Ford's career. He went on to bring to life iconic characters like Indiana Jones and Rick Deckard, cementing his place as one of the longest-reigning superstars in modern cinema. With over $10 billion at the worldwide box office to his name, Ford remains a prime example of hard work and persistence in following your passion.